Hey guys, Brian Salter here. Just wanted to persuade you to watch this video here. This is going to be a really short intro to give you context, and then we'll be showing the tail end of one of my other videos. So anyway, some of the comments I get, there's maybe 3 or 4 people, not the same people, but do you know what we do for a living? I don't think some of you do. You know, we get people send us rule books, or people send us a wish list of an engine that they'd like to have, or maybe a goal or record they'd like to break. For example, when I set 20 records, 20, okay, 20, I did it with a 250 cubic inch, with Chevrolet block based engine. Yeah, 250, 250. You know, that doesn't exist. So I designed the crank, designed my pistons, the rods. I developed the heads from nothing. Took me 4 months. I made them. Tried multiple camshafts. Intake was, oh Lord, I don't even know how much time I spent on that. And that little 250 cubic inch engine with a wet sump, no vacuum, dynoed out at 544. And that was back in 2008. And I've learned some stuff since 2008 too. Do you know how efficient that engine had to be to do that? So when some of you throw stuff up at me like you're so authoritative on it, it's disturbing, because some of the stuff, like some guy said that short rods with long compression heights have less friction, and that's why they put longer rods in a diesel, and maybe I should ask an engineer. And I mean, what? Wow. Okay, well, anyways, you take guys like Pat Musey and Charlie Buck and John Causey, and some of the brilliant minds like David Vizard. We're not taking 350s and making 600 horsepower. Whoop-de-doo. Okay, we're doing stuff like making 1,000 horsepower naturally aspirated out of a small block. And it lives. $100,000 engines. We are engineers. And we have tried this. We have tried everything under the sun. I've lost my butt financially trying stuff, but gained it back because of that. I can think of some greats like Rear Morrison racing engines. Back in the heyday, they also went through the rod ratio craze. And David Rear came to the conclusion, get a piston that's right for what you're doing, get the stroke you want, and you connect the two. If you have a 6-inch rod and an engine, I'm just using that for an example, and then I decide I'm going to change it to a 5.950 rod, well, the 5.950 rod's shorter, so now I guess I'm going to have different torque and horsepower output because of that, right? No. No, I'm not. What it is mathematically speaking, when people try to improve stuff on paper, they'll use these ridiculous lengths, extremes, like, and I'm just throwing a number out. Let's just say a 2-foot rod versus a 1-foot rod. Yeah, there's a big difference, but that don't fit in the engine. That's not how it is. And the whole point of these videos about connecting rod ratios was to tell the people who aren't sure, err on the side of safety. Don't chase connecting rod ratios. Get a piston that will be stable. Now, if you're going to do a 1 weekend race event, then balls to the wall. But if you're going to have an engine that needs to see a season, then get a stable piston. And I ain't talking about a very tall piston. For like a naturally aspirated gasoline race engine that turns 9,000 RPMs, 1-inch 150 is great. For a street motor, 1-inch 150 is great. It'll last a while. But when you start getting into 100s, and 1050s and stuff like that, or 950s, they work great until they get some time on them. And then the unstableness shows up. And y'all haven't tested motors after they've raced. I have. We've ran compression heights of 1/50 and 1-inch. Dynoed them before, run several races, put them back on the dyno, and saw what happens. We saw the little loss that starts showing up, the blow-by that starts showing up. We lose pan vacuum because of it. We take them apart and you see some bad scuffing on the skirt because the piston is rocking so bad. It ain't about the science of the rod ratio. It's about finishing the race and winning. I build motors to win races and get trophies and make a living. I don't build motors to prove some mad science project and hopefully not kill anybody in the crowd when the rod goes flying through the side. No lecture and no theory ever overcomes reality. And this, if you don't understand that, we have nothing to talk about. Now there's a lot of people on here that have learned stuff and told me they've learned stuff and liked the videos, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And we're asking people to subscribe and like the video. So just to be clear, that's my doctrinal statement about connecting rods. That is my doctrinal statement. I have two modes. I have all out and I have conservative. And you know what's funny about that? Is the all out mode and the conservative mode, there's not any horsepower between the two. Isn't that amazing? Now you get some time on the all out motor with a really short piston in it, and now the horsepower difference starts showing up. But out of the gate, there's no difference. Except for the engine that has the little tiny bit shorter rod, and a little more compression height, still making the same power weeks down the road. And the one with the little bitty piston, it ain't. And that's a scientific fact. So for those of you that have these crazy ideas and some of the junk you're writing in the comments, go find somebody who knows what's going on and listen. Keep your mouth shut and listen. Because we don't know what you're even talking about. So here's the end of the video. It's my doctrinal statement. I don't want anybody putting words in my mouth. Unless you got millions of dollars, get a good stable piston. I didn't say a tall one. I said a good stable one. And connect it to your crank with a connection rod. And you're going to be fine. All right, y'all have a great rest of your week.